Scientists just found the tomb of Egyptian god Osiris next to the River Nile. Archaeologists have just found an eerie blackened tomb belonging to Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god of the dead, next to the River Nile. And this shocking discovery seems to be in line with a scary Egyptian prophecy about death and rebirth. Each civilization has its own set of myths and legends. The legend of King Arthur and Queen Guinevere is one of the most well-known in the world. Arthur is often regarded as the greatest king to ever rule over the British Isles. Similarly, Osiris's mythos is one of Egypt's most well-known stories. The ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife and the ruler of Hades is Osiris. The tales surrounding this character are intricate and multifaceted, as is the case with many religious figures. Depending on popular beliefs, he was either the god of immortality or the judge of the dead, admitting only the morally worthy to his afterlife. He was also worshipped as the god of regeneration and rebirth. Still, regardless of how he was viewed, he was generally considered to be one of the more potent gods. Now, archaeologists have found a tomb that looks to have been designed after the legendary tomb of Osiris. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities worked with a Spanish and Italian archaeological team to unearth this artifact. Located on the west bank of Thebes, the Deir el-Bahari, the northern monastery, is home to the necropolis of Sheikh Abd al-Qurna, where this tomb was mentioned in Egyptian mythology. In 1887, Philippe Viry made the initial discovery of the tomb. It was partially mapped in the 20th century, although Tomb Camp 327 was never included. The recently discovered Osiris complex consists of a tunnel leading to a series of chambers, which in turn house a wide variety of historical relics. A section designated for storing corpses features a wall relief depicting a number of devils brandishing knives. Inside yet another room, the central vaulted chapel, an emerald-skinned deity sits opposite a staircase that winds up a shaft that is 29.5 feet or 9 meters high. There are 2 rooms at the bottom of the shaft, separated by a shaft that descends 19.6 feet or 6 meters. As you can see below, it resembles a maze to some degree. Researchers believe the tomb complex dates back to the 25th dynasty, about 760 to 656 BC, or the 26th dynasty, 672 to 525 BC, based on a comparison to other tombs that also contain Osirian characteristics, while the exact era of the building's construction is unknown. The myth and importance of Osiris. Osiris was not only in charge of the dead, but he also had the power to bring all life from the underworld, from new plants to the Nile River's annual flood. From about 2000 BCE on, people thought that after death, every man, not just kings, became linked to Osiris. This connection to Osiris did not mean, however, that the person would come back from the dead, since not even Osiris did. Instead, it meant that life would be renewed both in the next world and on Earth through one's children and grandchildren. In this more generalized form, the worship of Osiris spread all over Egypt and often joined with the worship of local gods of fertility and the underworld. In different towns all over Egypt, Osiris festivals were held every year to show how the god's life ended. During the late period, one of the most important parts of the festivals was making an Osiris garden. This was a mold of Osiris that was filled with soil. The Nile water was used to wet the mold, which was then filled with grain. Later, the grain that grew sprouts came to represent Osiris's life force. At Memphis, the holy bull Apis was linked to Osiris. This made Osiris Apis, which later became the name of the Hellenistic god Serapis. The Greeks and Romans linked Osiris to the god Dionysus. Soker, an old Memphite god of the dead, was also thought to be Osiris. Osiris is usually shown as a man with a beard and mummified legs. He's often seen holding a crook and flail and wearing a pointed crown made of ostrich feathers. People think that the crook stands for Osiris's role as a shepherd god, but it's not clear what the flail means. Most of the time he is shown as a pharaoh whose skin is either green, which is the color of rebirth, or black, which refers to the richness of the Nile floodplain. He is thought to be the oldest son of the earth god Geb. He's in charge of the dead and gives life by making crops grow in the Nile flood and make the land fertile. Osiris is linked to natural cycles because they give people hope of a new life after death. He was worshipped as Lord of the Dead until the Egyptian religion was banned when Christianity spread in the Roman Empire. He has also been called the Lord of Science and the one who was always kind and young. Rich ancient Egyptians who paid for assimilation rituals could be linked to Osiris after death. This meant that they could rise from the dead with Osiris and inherit eternal life. In one version of the story of Osiris, his brother Set and the Queen of Ethiopia, along with 72 other people, planned to kill him. Set tricked Osiris into getting into a box, which was then sealed and thrown into the Nile. But Isis, Osiris's wife, looked for his body until she found him in the trunk of a tamarind tree that was holding up the roof of a palace. She was able to move the coffin and open it, but Osiris was already dead. She used a spell to bring him back to life so she could get pregnant, but he died again, and she hid his body in the desert. Months later, she gave birth to Horus, who is the patron god of Nekhen in Upper Egypt. He is often shown with the head of a falcon. Set later found Osiris's body while hunting in the desert. He tore it into 14 pieces and spread them all over the land. Isis put all of the body parts together, except for his phallus, which was eaten by a catfish so that he could be buried properly. The gods were moved by her loyalty, so they brought Osiris back to life as the god of the underworld. On the west side of the corridor is a tomb with reliefs of demons and gods holding knives. These are thought to be armed guards watching over the tomb's owner. Archaeologists leading the Spanish and Italian dig say that the building is full of symbols of Osiris, such as a staircase that leads to the underworld, a statue on an island, and an empty corridor that looks like a river. Under the statue is a tomb which connects the dead to Osiris. On the west side of the Osiris statue's corridor, there's a room with a shaft that goes down 22 feet, or 7 meters, and leads to 2 empty rooms, and 2 more debris-filled rooms that haven't been looked into yet. The 2 chambers might not have been noticed by Philippe Viry, the archaeologist who found the tomb in the 1880s, according to the Egyptian Department of Antiquities. He tried to put it on a map, but until now, no one has paid attention to how important the site is. Another staircase in front of the statue of Osiris goes down 29 feet, or 9 meters, to a room with another shaft, which is thought to be the deepest part of the tomb. It is not known when excavations will continue. Discovery of an underground tunnel. Egypt's archaeologists have also found a tunnel under the temple of Osiris, the god of death, called Taposiris Magna. Kathleen Martinez, an archaeologist at the University of Santo Domingo, found the 6.5-foot tall, 4,300-foot long tunnel about 43 feet underground at the temple, which is west of the ancient city of Alexandria. She also found 2 alabaster statues from the time of Ptolemy and a number of pots and vessels made of clay. In a statement last week, the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities announced the find and called the tunnel a geometric miracle. Part of the tunnel is underwater, which may be because the area was hit by several earthquakes between 320 and 1303 CE. Archaeologists think that the temple fell down because of these natural disasters. The tunnel is an exact copy of the Eupalinos tunnel in Greece, which Martinez tells Live Science's Owen Jarris is one of the most important engineering feats of ancient times. The tunnel of Eupalinos was an aqueduct that moved water for more than 1,000 years. It was on the Greek island of Samos in the eastern Aegean Sea. Archaeologists have found a lot of other things at the site, including coins with the names and pictures of Cleopatra VII and Alexander the Great. They have also found statues of the goddess Isis, figurines, a mummy with a gold tongue, and a cemetery full of mummies that look like they were made in Greco-Roman style. Cleopatra, who ruled Ptolemaic Egypt from 51 to 30 BCE, and her longtime lover, the Roman general Mark Antony, both killed themselves in 30 BCE. Historians think that they are probably both buried in the same place, but they don't know where. Martinez, a former criminal lawyer who became an archaeologist, has thought for a long time that the ancient queen was buried at the Taposiris Magna temple. After getting permission from the Egyptian government to do research in the area, she started digging. She hasn't found Cleopatra's tomb yet, but she has found many other important things, like the tunnel, over the past 15 years. She's still looking for the long-lost tomb of the ancient queen, and and she thinks she's getting closer. In 2009, she said that if there's even 1% chance that the last queen of Egypt is buried there, it's my job to find her. That pretty much wraps this video up, guys. Thanks for watching. So, what are your thoughts about the discovery of Osiris's tomb in the River Nile? Share with us in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel with a bell notification if you enjoy watching our content. We upload some awesome stuff here which you will most certainly enjoy. Hit a like on this video and leave a comment below. See you guys in the next one.